What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Fringesport Midas mini barbell. So this is basically their Midas barbell that I took a look at maybe a couple of years ago now, shrunken down into a shorty barbell form. They sent it to me sometime last week, and I've been trying to fit it into my workouts, but as you know, with shorty barbells, they're not the most versatile pieces of equipment. You have to really have a workout that fits the need, or you have to be a certain person that a shorty barbell will fit the needs for. But either way, this to me so far seems like it's probably the best shorty barbell that I have tried thus far. And I'll tell you why in just 1 minute, but first let's talk about the specs and everything with a shorty barbell. So this is a total length of 72 inches, and that's from sleeve to sleeve. The loadable sleeve area on this bar is 9 inches. So realistically, you're probably gonna be able to get like 3 full-size 45-pound bumpers on there. It really kind of just depends on who makes the bumpers that you're gonna be putting on there, but the sleeves on this bar are cut down, and that's what makes it shorter. The shaft is a full length, 51.5 inches from sleeve to sleeve, so you do get a full snatch grip when using this barbell, and it is rackable. The weight of this barbell is 15 kilograms like most shorty barbells. This bar also has dual knurling marks. You have a powerlifting mark and you have a weightlifting mark. The sleeves have bushings in them for their rotation, and I think they spin pretty well. The shaft is 190 psi tensile strength, just like the normal Midas barbell, and the coating on it is Cerakote. The Cerakote coating on this particular bar is on the more matte and chalky side, and it actually feels different than the full-size Midas barbell, which does have a matte Cerakote finish, but it's a little bit more slick or smooth than this barbell has. Another thing different with this particular barbell is that the knurling is actually different than the full-size Midas bar, which has a pretty sharp volcano type knurling, whereas this one actually has a pretty comfortable and light hill type knurling. Like most shorty barbells, the whip is not going to be as good as it would be on a full-size barbell, and they do advertise this as being a light whip bar, but in my testing, I felt like this is probably one of the better bars to do Foley work on because the whip is actually not that bad for a shorty barbell. It's pretty comfortable to use this barbell in comparison to the likes of like the Gorilla Pongo bar, the Rogue C70, or even the Rogue C70S, which also has a full length shaft. All right, so now that the specifications are out of the way, let's kind of talk a little bit more in depth about the actual details of this barbell. Okay, so starting with the sleeves, which are kind of like the star of the show, and that's obviously because they are gold in color. And just like the original or full-size Midas barbell, the coating that they're using is a proprietary gold titanium, which honestly, I think sounds a little bit fancier than it actually is. To me, it probably is just like a gold-colored chrome because while it's pretty resistant to scratches just by sliding bumper plates onto the barbell, which is what I test with. I did not test with steel plates or iron plates just because it's not really what I'm using this barbell for. It is resistant to just normal wear and tear, but if you have something sharp impact then it will cause damage to the sleeve because it will mar the actual metal itself, and then that will puncture the coating on top of the bar. So it is not an indestructible coating, it's just a little bit more resistant, kind of in the way that chrome is. The sleeves, like I said before, have 9 inches of loadable area. So realistically, this bar is only gonna fit a certain type of person. Like shorty bars, just in general, are more of a CrossFit barbell. We use them in CrossFit competitions at the games level. It's really the only time you see them. The only other person that I'd say that this would be beneficial for is somebody that just doesn't have a lot of space in their gym, and you really, really needed to make use of as much space as you had. The sleeves are on bushings, and this time around, they actually spin really, really well. It's very smooth. There's not a whole lot of play in the sleeve itself. So I really like the actual construction this time around. I didn't open it up, and I'm assuming it doesn't have rust all over the inside because of just how smooth the sleeves actually spin on this barbell. And it's much better than the Rogue C70 and the Gorilla Pongo bar that I tried out. Okay, so the knurling is what I found to be the biggest difference between the shorty barbell and the full length barbell, obviously besides the length itself. And the reason for that is because the shorty barbell has a much lighter cut of knurling than the full-size barbell. And it's advertised to be the same knurling, but it's absolutely not. The knurling on this bar is very light and comfortable. And I think it's really easy to hold for multiple reps. And that's gonna be great if you are a CrossFitter, you're picking up this bar because you wanted a shorty barbell to do WODs with. Something like this is going to provide a comfortable grip and without being slippery at all because of the way that the coating is and its matte and chalky finish. The shaft on this bar is that 28.5 millimeter diameter shaft. So that is your general multi-purpose kind of CrossFit barbell diameter. And unlike the Rogue, which has the same shaft diameter, I feel like this bar does have a little bit more whip. It's a little bit more comfortable to use for like barbell cycling, which I use this barbell for. I used it for a couple complexes, and I didn't feel like it was too abrasive coming off my leg, and that goes with the coating as well. It didn't catch my clothing, and that's a problem that I've had with bars in the past that had a more chalky type coating. Overall, I think the feel of this barbell is what sets it apart from some of the other shorty barbells. The knurling is comfortable to hold, and the whip on it is pretty comfortable to use. Okay, so it's a shorty barbell. Who would I recommend this barbell for? Like I said before, it's really a very specific person. Not everybody needs a shorty barbell, and it's more of just like a specialty training tool than an actual necessity when it comes to working out, having a home gym, having a CrossFit gym, being a CrossFitter. If you are a competitive athlete, then I say you do owe it to yourself to have and train on a shorty barbell because it does come up at the games level, at the quarterfinals level, or the regionals level, whatever you want to call it. It's something that feels different than a full-size barbell, and you really have to try one in order to know what it feels like because weight does feel a lot heavier on a shorty barbell than it does on a normal barbell. That's just because it's a little bit more centered and there's less whip on that barbell. If you're somebody that's looking to save some space, you're a pretty casual CrossFitter, or you just wanted a bar to use for a CrossFit WOD in your garage or something, then I think the Midas Mini is also a great choice for you. For me, this has probably been my favorite shorty barbell to do CrossFit with. And that's because the knurling on it is great. It's comfortable and doesn't catch your clothing when you're doing like barbell cycling movements. Another reason why I like it is because the whip actually feels a little bit better on this bar than other shorty barbells. You could either like that or dislike that, but if you're planning on using a bar for like barbell cycling and Oli, then I think that this shorty is probably the best one out there. And the sleeves on this barbell spin really well, especially since they're bushings and not bearings like the True Grit barbell. The last person that I would recommend this barbell for is just that person that didn't have a lot of space to work with. This barbell is great because it is rackable, it's got a full-size shaft, and it's something that you can actually squat and bench with. The whip is still gonna be on the light side, doesn't have a ton of spin, but the one drawback there is that you either need to have steel plates on it so you can maximize the amount of sleeve that it has, or you're just not really lifting all that heavy with this barbell. All in all, I really like the Midas Mini barbell. Like I said before, this has been my favorite shorty barbell to use, and that is coming from a CrossFitter. If I were to grab one of my shorty bars to use for a CrossFit workout, definitely be this one. I really like the knurling, the spin is great, the whip is good enough on it, and it also looks really cool. So if you really wanted some gold sleeves on your barbell, then I definitely recommend that you check out the Fringesport Midas Mini barbell because that sleeve color is definitely eye-catching. If you guys have any questions about the Fringesport Midas Mini barbell, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.